Hi, this is Miniature Modeller Paul with a update on the Churchill, and basically and I said I would do this, but this is what I've actually done so far. I've actually glued these two parts, D15 and 16. Make sure you do that. There is actually parts that look very similar, and they are D, as you can see. I've done what Alberto Modeller does, a brilliant idea, and other people do it as well. And 3 and 4, you make them parts obviously for another version. Whoops, another for another version. So don't do that, and basically make sure you definitely use 15 and 16, D16. Anyway, that went together. I left that. I laid them flat, glued them in position, run a bit of Tamir extra thin this through it, and basically then let it dry for about an hour. I know it dries instantly, but I left it to make it strong. And then I went into these parts. You've got to make sure that you get these parts in the right order. And what I did is I glued all these, as it says, onto one part. And I laid this flat as it already was on the desk, and actually use a pair of tweezers. And there is one left on there, because the one for obviously another version just there. And what I did then is basically put my tweezers on there and slotted it into place. And you know, you can't miss it, you can see what I mean, but make sure you put them in the right order. They're really straightforward. Some have actually got a little gate in them as well, to actually, these ones have, and the one the other end in there, and the rest of them, and that one there. There's 3 with gates, and the rest of them are straightforward. These are all there. But all you have to remember is just do them very carefully and make sure they go into, and I slid them in, ran a bit of thing and slid it into the slide, so it actually went as far as the stop, and then it was okay. The ones with the little gate in makes it easier, obviously. And then once I've done that, now some people had a lot of problem with this. I didn't find it too bad. What I did is basically, I think Alberto Modeller did this as well. I actually put this piece, once these parts are in place, I put this, the other piece D1 against these two, and put one of these swing arms in, starting at the right end obviously, and then I glued that part in place. And then what I did is put a couple in, and then I was pushed into, because they click into place, so you get them in there, slide them into the grooves, and basically work my way along, gluing this side to the plate, the opposite side here. So basically, because that's done, glue that plate to this one, and work all along and putting them in until you get to the end. Once you get to the end, you end up with something like this. Hopefully it can be seen quite clearly. I don't know if I can put another light on, perhaps. It gives you a little bit more light, but there you go. So something like that. And you can see I've got a bit of glue finger mark there, so I put too much extra thin. I'm going to clear that up anyway, but I think it doesn't matter because it's going to be polished up a bit later. But anyway, so basically they all swing. Now, this is the one that's done. There she is, all done. And they do move. Now, these haven't been glued in place, they haven't got the road wheels in, but they're pretty much solid as they should be. And look, there's, you can see the holes all lined up, lovely. Now, I found an easy way, because I've got 4 more of these kits to build at some point, and they're all to do with D-Day, and one's to do with Dieppe. But what I've got here is how I did it. Now, I'm not sure of this gang around doing. So what I do is take this piece like this, and hang it that way, so it hangs down. And then I take this part, got to make sure I get the right end. Yes, I have. I take this part, and because they're hanging down, I don't know if you can see that, I think I should come onto the back view. Because they're hanging down, I can go into it like this and slot it in place. I don't know if you can see that. So into there and slot it in place. Once you've got it in place, all you have to do then is just line up these bits here. I don't know if I can't see whether it's clear or not, but anyway, so I'm still in camera, so that's the main thing. Line these bits up like this, so that goes into there, and you'll see they go into place. Just make sure they're lined up, so when you actually come in to glue this piece, it's all okay. So you just turn the springs round. I more or less had them in the right place anyway, because I've done this a few times. But I really know this is all going to help me for my next builds, because I just know what to do straight away. And so once they're in place, then what I do is I go to the other end, and I'll do one bit and basically line it up like that. Now that is lined up onto the actual part where how it's got to go on there, and that's the way it's meant to be. So what I can do now I go right to the end. That's it. That's in place. And it lines up like that. You can see that's actually lined up on the spring, but it's pushing it over. So you don't want it to push that spring over. There you go. That spring's got to be horizontal, not under pressure. And that is it. And then glue. Now I'm not going to do it on thing, but there you go. So you can go that end as well. And this goes into that position. And then when I do, once I've got it start to glue, I hold it in place, run my extra fin down the sides here, and just hold that in place, and then I go to the other end and do that. And once I've done that, I actually get it all lined up nicely, and then you can go to the middle and set that up as well. But it actually falls together in some ways, but because I've moved it around a bit. But normally it's easier to, as I said, to do that, to get it back up, get it into position, do that. It lines up lovely, and you can see what I mean. It goes there, and all I've got to do now is line up on the pivots. And then what I did find is on this one, little lines along there were perfectly just slotted in place, but this one hasn't got it for some reason. It doesn't really matter because I know where it goes, and I just line it up. So I just got to line this all up so it's all sit in place like so. So basically you push it into position and hold it down, so the spring can actually be lined up with the loop on the other side, on this piece, on these pieces here, 21, 21, 30, 23 and all that. And that's really how I do it, and I just line it round and goes. It's just got to glue this piece in place. And that's it. And that's what I'm going to be doing. And then the wheels come on afterwards. That is in the right place now. Perfect. So now what I'm going to do now is I'll glue it down in place now. I'm going to glue this one first. Oops, excuse me, get a bit of extra fin here. Don't normally do this on camera. Oops, take some of that glue off, don't want too much. A little rub along there, a little rub along the side. And then I'm going to hold it, because you've got to hold it. And for a little while. To make sure it dries in there nice and easy. Hope you can see that nicely. There you go. But anyway, so then that's what I do, because these are easily lined up easy now because they're perfect in place. There's no issues with it at all. And once I've done that end, and I think that's going to be all now, and then I'll go to this end and do the other end. So I'm going to swing it round and do it there. Sit in place, and again run a bit of glue both sides and hold that in place as well. Make sure it doesn't move, obviously. That's it. Holding it in place, sorry there, on that camera. Holding it in place. The other end's in moisture dry. Once this is dry, then I go down the middle. I do the middle, line down the middle up, and then I run glue all the way along the edges. I found this was the easy way, and straightforward. Right, that's basically glued, I think. No, not quite. Got to hold it a bit longer. And that's how I've done it. So that's the end of that. So I'll just come back in just a couple of seconds. And then basically just all I've got to do now is run along this gap here with a bit of glue, but I normally do a bit in the middle just to hold in place, but that's all been held down nicely. These springs are not doing any pressure on anything at the moment because obviously they're not the suspension, but it's all lined up ready to go. I think you can see through the hole where the wheels go. Yeah, road wheels go. And that's it. Right, that's glued in place. Now all I've got to do now is do the other one. So just to come back to this instructions again, I think what you can see now is I've done that. So, and then I went on to do this bit, which is what I've just done. But like I said, if you hold hold this so all these suspension arms, drop down, and bring it up underneath this in the upside down position with the springs pointing down. You'll find that it slots into place lovely, and I took that on and off about 3 or 4 times to test the theory, and it worked perfectly on both suspensions. So my suspensions went together quite reasonably. Clean up, there's a bit of clean up, but apart from that, let's just bring the camera out a bit. So I put that there. But apart from that, that bit's gone quite well. So I've just got to do the gluing on to the other one in a minute, just of doing it. So that's it really. I've actually done now all these parts now. I've done. Let's go back. Oh, I've done that. That obviously drilled the holes. Put these in place, make sure you use the right ones. I think I've already done that, and basically put these in place. Now that was pretty straightforward. As long as you line it up again and work your way along, make sure you don't get the glue into these circular areas, because if you do, the plastic part of where the spring is will not move, and you'll be glued together. All mine actually function perfectly, so just keep testing that as you're holding it. I clamped them both as well with my trusty clamps. Here it goes. So, these ones, I've got 6 of these little devils. They're pretty good little ones. There you go. Oops, the bottom drops off, so you don't always have to have the bottom on these things. It does do the job. There you go. And that was it. And then obviously again back to here. So I've done right through to number 4 now, which is 3 and 4 all the way down, and I'm just going to glue that last bit completely onto that, and then I've actually finished my what I call the tricky part of the build on the suspension. The rest of it's going to be straightforward for that part. Right, so thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Happy modelling.